Alright. Hi, it's me, Xena, with Spock here. And the last time that we made a film together, Spock, this may have been a year ago, you said that you scathed me for, having mistakes or mishaps. And I said that you behaved like Shelton Cooper to me. Who are you well, we all have mistakes and mishaps, Xena. And as far as this Sheldon Cooper fellow goes, isn't he on the Big Bang Belief and also Young Shelton film show? Yeah. Well, first off, I just want to say how sorry I am, Xena, for you feeling that way. Shit, is there a finger there? Yeah. And I hope you forgive me for that. Oh, I forgive you for it. A lot of folks always like to scathe you for not feeling or not having feelings for your friends or for your kin. But I don't believe that, you know. Well, I do. I have feelings. I do feel for my friends and my kin, Xena. But sometimes the way that I don't always show my feelings. So it always made folks feel as if I didn't have feelings or I was seeking to get away from my feelings, seemed to be the belief of it. You know, Yeah, you always seem to be the earnest one on all the Star Trek shows, at least the ones that you were on. You always seem to be the earnest one. Or what some folks would say, the one that didn't show his feelings, but he did have feelings. Yeah, I did have feelings, Xena. It's just I didn't always know good way to show those feelings or when the right time it was to show those feelings, but I did care for my friends and I did care for my kin. Yeah. Well, anyway, a lot of folks out there, like to a lot of folks out there always like to bring up Star Trek, but they always talk about, not the all the sagas of Star Trek that came and went over the years, but they like to talk about the first Star Trek, the one that everyone thinks was the greatest. They're like, oh, the first following is the first years of Star Trek, the first sagas of the first followings of it were the good ones. They don't like to talk about the Rawlings Show one. They don't like to talk about Star Trek: The Next Lifetime or Star Trek, deep, Deep Star Nine. They don't really like to talk about Star Trek Voyager, or sagas or all those other ones that came along afterwards. And very few of them like to talk about what the newer Star Trek saga that's out. Yeah, a lot of folks in the Star Trek followership, Xeno, like to talk about the first sagas or the first followings, the first sagas, of the show. And in their mind, they believe a lot of them, that those were the good ones, and that any other, Star Trek Enterprise, I forget about that one. That a lot of them out there think that that was the greatest one, and all the other followings of the show that would come afterwards, and even the newer ones aren't as good as the ones that came before it. Like that's their belief, They have no truth to it. Yeah. I mean, at least your show, at least the show went on to have like many sagas and many followings, and you know, my show didn't do. I mean, my show was all right. It did good for about 30 years. It only had about six sagas, six followings to its name, one drawing film, Neebies about two film games, Neebie free, sundry dolls. That's it. But after that, my show really did not get as the same. Didn't really last or that long. And even though it got many love years later, the love that the show had in the early days wasn't there. And my show was going to get a new boot or a new take. And you know what, Spock? They shitted all over it. Well, Xena, everybody has their thoughts and beliefs. And, there was always talks about Star Trek getting a new boot or a new take, and some folks in the Star Trek followership always hating on that too. And when the new sagas, the new followings of the show started up, in 2020 YL, a lot of folks didn't think it was going to be as good as all the other followings that came before it. But then how could they doom something that they never watched before? Yeah, I mean, you're right about that, Spock. I mean, no one will never see it. Never got streamed or broadcasted. Shit went wrong. Showrunners, were either being fired or quit. The only show player who was going to play me, Katrina Hall, she left. Then the one showrunner and head writer left. And then a lot of other shit just happened. And they just said it was dead in the water. And almost everyone in the Xena fighter Aldeling followership was all happy about it. But I truly thought it was sad, because I truly believed that my show could have done good with a new boot or a new take. Well, Xena, we'll never know if your show would have done well with a new boot or a new take. And I do want to say that I'm once again sorry for what I said to you like a year ago, when we both were in a film together a year ago. Yeah. Well, I forgive you too, Well, we'll see you around. Alright, I'll see you around, Spock. I'll see you around too, Xena.